Ever thought a simple mission trip could turn into a terrifying fight for survival? Two young missionaries go to spread their faith, but what they find will make your skin crawl. Stay with me because you won't believe the dark secrets waiting behind the closed doors. The movie opens as we meet two Mormon missionary girls named Sister Paxton and Sister Barnes. They are on a mission to spread their faith and convert as many people as possible. Paxton is worried because she has not been able to convert a single person during her time as a missionary. Barnes, on the other hand, appears more confident since she has already managed to convert 8 people. The two young women then go around town trying to spread their message, but no one is interested in hearing them. Sometime later, it begins to rain, and the two go over their list of people to visit. They soon arrive at the home of a man who had shown prior interest in the Mormon religion. They lock their bicycles outside and knock on the door, to which an elderly man named Mr. Reed answers. He warmly greets them, and Paxton begins to recite the speech she has memorized. But Reed notices the rain and invites them into the house after mentioning that his wife is inside. Upon entering, the girls hand their rain-soaked coats to the old man. After leaving them in the living room, Reed goes to the kitchen and returns with 2 sodas and a candle. He mentions that his wife is very shy and is currently making blueberry pie in the kitchen. The girls, who can smell the pie, say she should also be in the room. So Reed assures them that she will arrive shortly. Up next, Reed asks them about their personal lives. They answer very cheerfully, and Paxton even reveals that she wants to be reincarnated as a butterfly just to follow around the people she loves. But then, the old man suddenly asks an uncomfortable question about their views on polygamy. The girls are clearly opposed. So Reed claims that Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism, initiated sexual relationships with multiple women, resulting in the practice of polygamy. He claims that Smith encouraged other Mormon men to have multiple wives as well. Therefore, Reed believes that the entire foundation of this religion is riddled with brainwashing. Amidst this conversation, Barnes asks about his wife. So Reed says he will go find her. After he leaves the room, Barnes examines the lit candle and is shocked to discover that the aroma of blueberry pie is coming from it rather than the kitchen. But before she can tell her friend, the old man returns and asks them to follow him inside, where his wife awaits them. But before they enter, Barnes pretends to receive a phone call from her superior, so Reed gives them some time. Barnes then anxiously tells Paxton that they should leave as she has sensed something strange about the man. The two proceed to the front door but soon remember that the key to their bicycles is in Barnes's coat. Regardless, they attempt to open the front door, but it is also locked and they cannot open it no matter how hard they try. The girls also try to call someone from the church, but Reed has metal roofing covering the home which disrupts cellular reception. At this moment, the lights suddenly go off. With no choice, the girls decide to find Reed and ask for his help. They walk down a dark hallway and soon arrive at a study room with 2 further doors, where they find the old man. The girls explain that their superior called and asked them to return to the church. Hearing this, Reed happily agrees to let them go and returns their coats. However, the girls are shocked to discover that the bicycle key is in Paxton's pocket but not in Barnes's. Regardless, they decide to leave and ask the old man to open the front door. But he shockingly reveals that it's not possible because the locks are on a timer and won't unlock until the next morning. The only way out is through a back door. Of course, the girls are now filled with horror and are unsure of what to do. Even worse, Reed suddenly tells them not to lie as he knows that no one actually called them. He reveals that the roof and walls of the house are covered with metal, which blocks any network signal. Frustrated, Barnes points at the two doors and asks which one leads outside. But Reed doesn't give her a clear answer. Paxton then asks him to bring his wife so she can accompany them on the way out. In response, Reed says that they have already noticed that the scented candle and no oven with a pie. But they still think his wife exists, just as they continue to believe in God, only because it was instilled in them since childhood. Upon hearing this, both girls are deeply frightened, and Barnes opens the two doors in the study room. But to her disappointment, both lead to a dark basement and not outside. Elsewhere at the Mormon church, a minister named Kennedy is about to call it a day. But when he reviews the daily log and notices that Barnes and Paxton still haven't returned, he becomes really worried. Returning to the house, the creepy man begins to talk about his views on the world's religions. He explains that according to the facts, the major monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Mormonism, all derive from the same source material in various forms. Reed then states that Judaism should be regarded as the original, as it is the root of all these religions. But only 0.2% of the world's population now practices Judaism, while its copy religions have huge number of followers. He reveals this is because Judaism doesn't advertise its God and has no publicity strategies, unlike other religious groups. Reed also claims that these girls are nothing more than salespeople trying to sell a product. After this, Reed writes belief and disbelief on two doors and challenges the girls to choose one to leave. Paxton tries to enter the disbelief door, but Barnes stops her, saying the choice doesn't matter because he won't let them go. Barnes then chooses the belief door instead, and Paxton follows her. They ask Reed if he isn't coming, but he simply shuts the door on them. The girls soon arrive at a dark basement with only a table and a fold-out chair. Barnes moves the table and places the chair on top to try to reach a high window. But when they hear the door above the stairs open, they quickly return the furniture to their original spots. Barnes then hands Paxton a letter opener she had taken from Reed's study, asking her to use it if Reed tries to hurt them. Moments later, someone arrives at the basement and they think it's Reed, but it turns out to be a barefoot woman dressed in a dirty robe and looking decrepit. The woman places a pie on a table and begins to convulse on the floor without saying anything. Meanwhile, Reed begins speaking with the girls through speakers installed in the basement. He explains that this woman is a prophet of God and that they are about to witness a miracle. The woman begins eating the pie and Reed reveals it is poisoned and she will die soon. The girls are shocked, but Reed claims the woman will soon be resurrected by the power of God. Barnes and Paxton watch in horror as the woman collapses and passes away. Reed orders them to examine her condition. The girls nervously check her pulse and confirm she has died. Reed is confident she will return soon and will share what she saw in the afterlife. At the moment, the doorbell rings and Reed goes to answer. After he leaves, the girls scream at the top of their lungs, but no sound escapes the locked door. Outside, Kennedy stands in a snowstorm asking if Reed has seen the church girls, but Reed says they didn't show up at his place. The girls watch through a gap under the basement door and find a matchbox on the rug. They decide to set fire to it, hoping smoke will alert someone. Outside, Kennedy apologizes for bothering Reed and decides to leave while Reed watches him. Back in the basement, the girls manage to get the matchbox but struggle to light the matches. Suddenly, the dead woman appears and throws up. She explains what she saw on the other side before fading with the phrase, "It's not real." Reed arrives at the basement and pulls her away, calling her words sacred and meant for holy books. Reed urges the girls to die to experience what lies beyond life for answers to all mysteries. Barnes argues that the woman's vision was a hallucination from a near-death experience. She explains that as a child she was sick with food poisoning and declared clinically dead, during which she had similar visions before returning to life. She hints for Paxton to attack, but before she can, Reed slits Barnes's throat. Paxton screams in terror, banging on the door while Reed calmly assures her Barnes will come back to life like the prophet. Minutes pass, but Barnes does not revive. Reed cuts open her arm and removes a metal object, claiming it is a microchip proving Barnes is a computer program inside a simulation. He explains this is why Barnes cannot be resurrected. Reed insists the world is a simulation and death is the only way to escape. He encourages Paxton to unalive herself. Paxton believes the metal object is a birth control implant and exposes the resurrection as a ruse. She notices that while distracted by Kennedy's arrival, another woman identical to the dead one emerged from a hidden door and recited a script from Reed, but improvised. It's not real. This shows Reed's murder of Barnes and attempt to convince Paxton the world is a simulation were improvised cover-ups. Paxton searches the basement and covers a hidden cellar. Reed warns her not to enter unless she is ready to discover the one true religion. Determined, she descends and finds a woman's corpse, proving her suspicions. Reed shuts down the door behind her. Using her phone's light, Paxton explores tunnels filled with occult symbols and satanic signs. She finds a locked door with her bicycle padlock and the key in her pocket. Behind the door, Paxton is horrified to find a cold storage room with frail women trapped in cages. Reed asks her if she understands what the one true religion really is. Paxton reveals that Reed purposely misled them and that the true religion is just control. Reed admits Paxton is right and claims none of the imprisoned women are there unwillingly. They brought their fate upon themselves with their beliefs. He punishes one woman by cutting her finger off as she cries. Shaken, Paxton stabs Reed with the letter opener and flees through underground corridors. She barricades a door, but once again, all exits are locked. She decides to go back downstairs for another escape route, but is stabbed by Reed collapsing with him. Reed asks Paxton to pray for them. Though initially doubtful, she prays as Reed leans on her, crying. Reed tries to stab her, but is stopped by Barnes, who kills Reed with a wooden plank but collapses and dies shortly after in Paxton's arms. Paxton crawls upstairs, finds an escape vent, and finally leaves the nightmare house. Walking through snow, a butterfly lands on her hand, reminding her of her wish to return as a butterfly to stay close to loved ones before it flies away, leaving her alone in the cold. Now you must be questioning one thing. How did Sister Barnes came to life in the last scenes? Sister Barnes' apparent return to life after being stabbed is intentionally ambiguous and open to viewer interpretation, rather than a definitive explanation of how she came back. It could be a miracle of faith, a final surge of strength before death, a hallucination by Sister Paxton, or a metaphorical representation of Barnes's defiance against the beliefs Mr. Reed was trying to impose. So there you have it. What starts as a mission of faith quickly becomes a fight for freedom against brutal control and deception. This movie will haunt your thoughts and leave you questioning just how deep belief and manipulation can go. Stay safe out there and keep your eyes open. Sometimes the darkest places are hiding right under your nose.